This video is brought to you by Nikki Sports, California's largest soccer retailer. Be sure to visit NikkiSports.com for a great selection on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Neymar signature colorway of the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2, which has been named Ousadia Alegria. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but that's how I say it, so I apologize if it's 100% wrong. Anyways, here is the box that it comes in. As you guys can see, this is just a standard orange Nike box. Nike did do a press release where there's going to be 1,000 custom painted boxes as part of kind of like an art project by the guy who actually did the design for this shoe. If you go through the Nike football app, I believe you have a chance to get one of those boxes, but if you buy them from a regular store, it's going to come in a regular Nike box. Other than that, inside the box, you of course do get a string bag. The string bag is black in color with black strings. You can see it does have the same pattern that you're going to find on the actual shoes themselves, the same graphic, I should say. It's a black on black pattern, really, really cool. The one side has the Neymar logo. The other side just has a Nike swoosh right there in the middle in the bright crimson kind of reddish orange color. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly and we'll take a closer look at what is technically the first signature colorway for Neymar for the new Hypervenom Phantom 2 that he's not actually wearing. He's wearing a custom version of this shoe that's more like a Vapor than it is a Hypervenom, but that's a completely different story. So as far as these shoes go, this particular colorway does come at a premium retail price of $300 US, so it is $25 more than a regular colorway of the Hypervenom Phantom 2. But really, aside from the colorway, it's just a regular Hypervenom. No major differences at all. So for performance-wise, this isn't, like I said, any kind of modification over the regular colorway, for those that might be wondering. So in this video, we're basically going to be going over all of the colorway details because it is a very unique looking shoe. We're going to talk tech specs, performance details, take a look at the weight, as well as talk about how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you are interested in learning more, please stick around and watch the entire video. And if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, they are available as of today. You can check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. And on that page, you'll be able to find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $300 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway and talk about what it's all about in the first place. Now, basically the backstory behind this Neymar signature colorway is this. He worked with a Brazilian artist who goes by the name of Bruno Big to basically create a graphic or a colorway of the Hypervenom Phantom 2 that kind of represents what Neymar is all about, what he stands for. The press release isn't super clear, and when you get an artist involved, a lot of it has to do with the shoe looking good. A lot of it has to do with kind of using your own imagination. So like I said, that's kind of the best explanation that I can give of what's kind of a confusing thing to explain. Now, the name of the shoe, which is Ousadia Alegria, which I'm not sure if I'm saying that right still, is Portuguese. If you put that into Google Translate, it translates to boldness and happiness, which I don't think is a perfect translation for what it's technically supposed to mean, but you kind of get the point across. And basically what the artist did for these two shoes is he created two different pieces of art or two different symbols to kind of describe Neymar's story or what he believes Neymar's story is. So you're going to see that both shoes basically have those two graphics kind of enlarged and printed across the upper. They don't come across as kind of anything in particular as they're seen on the shoes. You can see that the left and right shoe is different. One is the Ousadia shoe, one is the Alegria shoe, and for that reason they are technically different graphics, which is really, really cool. I like that aspect of the colorway. The actual graphic itself is represented on the insole. So the right insole has the Alegria kind of heart, which is kind of a hand holding a heart. That's the best way I can describe it, with this really cool art style. I think it's very good looking. And then of course the left shoe is the Ousadia shoe, which is a hand or a fist, again with that same art style. So each of these shoes has the actual graphic just enlarged on the shoe, and in certain elements, certain areas you can see, like Obviously, those are little valves coming from the heart, which you can see along the edges here. But for the most part, that doesn't really look like the picture when it's blown up on a shoe. You can see the fingers right there. But nonetheless, really, really cool graphic. It truly does pop with the kind of black and white color scheme that they went with. And another cool little detail is actually on the ends of the laces. The Alegria shoe says Alegria, and the other shoe obviously has the other name, which I'll show you guys right there, except it's upside down. So there it is. Kind of cool little details that the left and right shoe are technically different from each other. Other than that, the other elements of this colorway obviously include the Neymar logo on the medial side of the heel, which is really, really cool. I like the logo that they came up with. It just basically just spells out Neymar in this kind of interesting, very modern kind of font. And then of course you do have the bright crimson color, which definitely looks like more of a red than an orange in person, depending on the lighting situation. Obviously the sole plate looks more orange, but the swooshes on the top definitely look more red to me. Same thing goes for the Neymar branding. You have a black outline for the swoosh. The actual shoe itself and the graphic kind of has more of a matte finish to it, so it doesn't really have too much shine. You can see the Hypervenom branding, as well as the Nike Skin and ACC branding is in a silver color, which looks really, really good. Across the back, you're gonna find an actual extra piece stitched on to cover up the seam, as opposed to just kind of fused material, which is what you normally see. So that's one difference in comparison to a regular Hypervenom, but not something you're really gonna notice when you're actually wearing the shoes. It has no impact on performance whatsoever. The exposed Flyknit, as well as the laces, is solid black in color, but the mid layer is that bright crimson, which again kind of looks more orange to me than red, like you're gonna find with the swooshes. Same thing goes for the top ring on the actual collar. And then the sole plate, as you guys can see, features a bright crimson base, which again, kind of a little bit more orange. And then you have a clear translucent plastic black colored stud plate that does show some of that orangish color kind of peeking through. And then you do have the bright crimson in the translucent studs as well. So really, really good looking colorway. I think the combination of white, black, and red always looks good. And when you have this really kind of cool, complex, interesting graphic, it just makes for an extremely bold, very unique looking shoe that I personally really, really like the look of. So let me know your opinions on it down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. So like I mentioned at the start of the video, aside from the colorway and the graphics printed on the upper, this is just like any other colorway of the Hypervenom Phantom 2. There's no physical differences with the shoe. So what you're getting with the Hypervenom Phantom 2 is a pretty unique experience. The upper is made from Nike Skin. That's a very firm, thin material. It's not quite as thin as what you're going to get from something like a Nike Mercurial Vapor 10. And in comparison to that shoe as well, while it's a little bit thicker, it's also a little bit stiffer as well. It doesn't have that softness that you might expect from a higher end synthetic material, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that you're either going to love or hate. It's one of those shoes that certainly isn't for everybody, just based on the firmness of the material. So if you want that kind of no extra padding, relatively thin touch on the ball, that's exactly what these provide. As far as kind of a benefit to having this firmer material, the shoe is extremely responsive. You're gonna find that when you put this shoe on your foot and tie the laces tight, your foot is very securely locked in place. So when you're making those quick cuts and changes of direction, the response is pretty much instant. There's no rollover, there's no movement to the upper. And again, you get that very kind of quick one-to-one kind of reaction time from the shoe, which is really, really good. It's a very positive aspect of the Hypervenom and why I think it's the most responsive shoe currently on the market. Now, part of the reason why it's so responsive is one, it does have the stiffer material, but you also do have fly wire cables running down the lateral and medial side of the shoe. A little bit difficult to see on this particular colorway, but they are still there. It's in the actual material, runs from the base of the sole into the lacing system. So again, when you pull the laces tight, it pulls on those cables from the very bottom of your foot and just helps to secure and lock everything in place. As far as texturing on the upper is concerned, it does have more of a matte finish to it. Again, it does have all the little embossed lines in the actual upper, just like the regular colorway does as well. But a little bit more difficult to see because of the graphic. The texturing for me doesn't really do much in terms of changing the touch. I think they're there mainly as flex grooves, and flexibility isn't really an issue here. Again, the upper just doesn't have that soft feel that you might expect, especially if you're coming from the original Hypervenom Phantom 1. This is a completely different synthetic material, despite having the same Nike Skin name. Also, a feature of the upper is your ACC All Conditions Control feature, which acts as your wet control element, allowing for a little bit better grip on the ball in wet weather playing conditions. Not a make or break feature, not something that honestly you're truly going to notice when wearing the shoe, but it is something that they do include on all their top end models. Laces are off-centered, as you guys can see. Being that this is the Phantom 2, it does have the mid-cut design, which changes a couple things. You don't have a tongue, you have an elasticated piece of Flyknit running through the middle that's basically attached on the inside of the upper, so it's not going to slide around on you. And when you slide your foot inside the shoe, it stretches out a little bit, and then because it's elasticated, it kind of bounces back. And then of course you use the laces to lock everything in place. Obviously, because it's mid-cut as well, you have a different fit in the heel. Very similar to what you're going to find from a Superfly 4 and a Magista Obra. And then of course you do have your mid-cut collar as well, which doesn't offer any performance benefits. It's just a different type of feel. You have this extension piece that really has no structure to it. Again, it's elasticated, so there's no restrictiveness, there's no ankle support. There's really not much in the way of extra protection either, other than just a layer of this actual material itself. But like I said, it's something that some people like. It's something that some people don't like, and if you don't like it, you can go for the Hypervenom finish, which essentially is the exact same shoe with a standard cut and therefore a more standard fit as well. Moving on to the inside of the shoe, you do have an internal heel liner that's a smooth synthetic leather. There's some padding back there, but for the most part, the shoes will feel a little bit firmer at the rear of the shoe due to this mid-cut design, especially at first. The insole, fully removable. You guys got a quick look at it already. Here it is again. Mesh liner on top, no perforations, and it's just a single layer of this ortholite foam. Decent thickness to it, and actually pretty good step-in comfort as far as just general underfoot cushioning is concerned. Moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern. It looks the same as what we got on the first generation Hypervenom Phantom model, but that is actually a little bit more flexible. This is their compressed nylon sole plate. That again does have some decent stiffness to it, especially through the midfoot, but the forefoot is relatively flexible and will get more flexible as you wear them more and more. And then of course they've maintained the exact same Hypervenom stud pattern that is very much like what you're going to get from the Mercurial line, but instead of the studs being bladed, they are conical in shape. So they're not quite as aggressive in terms of just actual bite when pushing off, but they're still pretty aggressive given their fairly small profile, so they dig into the ground quite easily, but because they're also rounded, you get that freedom to twist and pivot as well. So as far as conical stud patterns go, this is definitely one of the more aggressive ones out there on the market. So overall, good performer, extremely responsive shoe, but certainly not for everybody when it comes to general comfort and just the way the shoe feels in general. If you want something thin, solid, responsive, and relatively lightweight on your feet, that's kind of what these shoes have on offer. In terms of weight, the Phantom 2 is nice and light both in hand as well as on feet. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. We're going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.6 ounces, the equivalent of 215 grams. So for comparison's sake, that's just ever so slightly more, about 0.3 to 0.4 ounces when compared to a Magista Obra or a Superfly 4. So those two models are technically a little bit lighter, but the weight difference is extremely minimal, not something you're going to notice on feet. So really either way, if you're looking for a shoe that feels nice and light on your feet, provides really good lockdown, and like I mentioned, is extremely responsive, you're definitely going to get that feel from the Hypervenom Phantom 2. Alright, so here is a look at the Phantom 2s on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes. On my right foot, I have a pair of black and red Crackle SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, the Phantom 2, like I mentioned earlier, has a thin, kind of firmer feel to the upper. So when you pull the laces tight, they're very, very secure, but they don't necessarily have that kind of soft, comfortable feel that you perhaps might expect from a high-end shoe. It's a firmer sensation. There's kind of a stiffness to the shoe overall. but it's something that doesn't necessarily feel uncomfortable. It's just something that takes some getting used to. So for the first couple of wears, I really strongly recommend taking things slow. Don't wear them straight into a game. Don't wear them straight into a free kick session. And you shouldn't have any issues with discomfort. It's something that you'll be able to get used to relatively quickly. But again, if you like that softer feel, these probably aren't the best option for you. As far as fit is concerned, it is a tighter fitting shoe. Width-wise, it isn't quite as narrow as what you're going to find from the Mercurial line, so they will fit most people, but keep in mind that if you have really wide feet, you normally require your shoes to stretch. This upper is not going to give at all. The way they fit from right out of the box is the way they're going to fit for their entire lifespan. So if you put them on for the first time and they don't feel right, it's best off to just not go for that shoe or return them if you ordered them online, because like I said, the shape is not going to change whatsoever. The material will become a little bit more flexible as you break them in, but that's about it. In the heel, again, being that this is a mid-cut model, does have a slightly unusual fit, a little bit firmer at first, but again, something you get used to pretty quickly. And as far as that collar is concerned, again, it's just an extension piece, really doesn't have any impact on fit or general performance. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the Neymar Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2. If you guys are interested in more info on this shoe, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find high quality images of this exact pair that'll give you a better idea as to how they actually do look in person, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick them up below their normal $300 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you do have any questions at all regarding this particular shoe, leave those questions down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.